how the tech gremlins love to come after me. It's still not. It's still not letting me do anything on Insta. But I think remind me of this. I do think that patience is a virtue. Oh, you see? Interesting. Okay, so I'm hitting go live here. Boom, it worked. Boom, it worked. Okay, bummer that my little situation isn't showing up on the bottom, as you can see there. I wonder if I need to center it. I'm gonna center it and see what happens. So we're about to dive in, guys. We're gonna dive into all things midterm rental uh markets. All things midterm rental markets. How do you like them apples? All right, so I'm gonna try that and see what happens. Hopefully that works, okay? All right, guys, so start dropping your questions in the chat. Hello, friends. I think we're live in all the places. I got one thumbs up. I'm hoping to get a few more thumbs up from you, right, to let me know that, in fact, we're live in all the places. I'm gonna leave the, I stopped sharing. Okay, yeah. Okay, all the thumbs up. Hello, dear friends. This is Dr. Rachel Gaisru with Short Term Gems. I am so glad that you're here today. I help busy doctors and professionals just like you create life changing income streams, and that is through smart, no nonsense real estate investing strategies. If you're here with us, start giving us some thumbs up, start giving us some hearts, some likes. I want to make sure that you can hear me loud and clear because I'm here. I'm here for you. I'm here to just answer your questions for the next 45 minutes or so, okay? Because here's the reason. My superpower is that I know how to find these high profit markets, and I know how to show you how to use real estate investing strategies that will not eat up all of your time as a mom with a whole husband, with two boys and three dogs. And so that is why I'm here today. I also host the Luxury Rental Doctor podcast where I break down the real estate investing strategies into easy, actionable steps to help you achieve financial freedom without all of the hassle. Today, we're diving into yet another and our final one for this week, amazing Q&A session. So this is your opportunity. This is your chance to ask me anything about getting started with real estate investing, anything about midterm rental markets. I see some audience members joining us now on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. So do not miss out on this opportunity to ask your questions, okay? I love these impromptu sessions. We do them rather rarely, and I just want to make sure I address each and every one of your questions. So let's get started. I see Dr. June with us. I see DJ is here. Flowers family is here. Dr. Mrs. Double Leo is here. David is here. Blessings is here. Okay, I am loving this. I'm loving all of the interactions. I am loving all those who are here giving us the thumbs up, all of the things. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so we're going to dive into the questions. The very first question that I received was from Angelique. Angelique, it is a pleasure to meet you, my friend. Angelique says, how do we connect with hospitals? I'm in the Cleveland, Ohio area and would love to tap into the Cleveland Clinic and University hospitals. Okay, so Angelique, that is a wonderful question. Now, I will preface it with my midterm rental market and my midterm rental strategy focuses on families who are displaced from their homes due to disaster. I do not necessarily tap into the medical professionals or traveling professionals realm. Now, when you're tapping into the hospitals, there are two different avatars, right? There are those who are actually traveling to work at those hospitals, and those who are actually traveling to receive treatment from those healthcare providers at those hospitals. So that is definitely a viable strategy if, in fact, you have a property that can meet those needs. Okay. So for me, we focus on the insurance policy holder strategies. We're focusing on families who are displaced from their homes due to disaster. And the reason we focus on this strategy is because this is a recession proof strategy. We're not at the whims of different pandemic cycles or anything like that. This is a strategy that I've been using since 2018. And one of the members on my team, they've been using since 2008. Okay. Because Wherever you turn, there's going to be a water pipe that bursts. Wherever you turn, there's going to be a fallen tree, or a lightning strike that opens up a roof and exposes the property to rainwater, to the elements, and really does a number on a property. And now that family has to move out of that home, and they're completely displaced until that property is repaired. So these are the people that we serve specifically. This is our area of expertise, and I absolutely love this because it's a year-round affair. Month after month after month, we are receiving inquiries, and all you need are two of those bookings, and you are solid. So I would definitely encourage you to use this as your primary strategy and use the other strategies as a secondary or tertiary strategy. Again, the reason is because of the volume and the opportunities that there are for this strategy. Okay. So, as far as connecting with hospitals, if that's going to be your secondary strategy, which is what I would recommend, I think it's good to always have a secondary strategy. If that's going to be your secondary strategy, I recommend that you connect with the recruiters that are servicing your local market if you're looking to house the healthcare workers that are coming into the area. So, who are those healthcare workers? Are you looking for nurses to come in? Are you into the travel nurse? Again, I don't advocate for this. My sister's a travel nurse, so do not get it twisted. I appreciate what they do, but they're on a budget and they're going to be price haggling, and I don't nobody have time to be haggling prices with people. I'm just not going to do it, right? I want the value of what we're putting together for our product, which is the property, to be very abundantly clear that yes, this is more expensive. Maybe it's more expensive than we were expecting, but we can see why because the value is there. And that's what we get when we work with the insurance companies whose pockets are deep. When you're working with a travel nurse, for instance, they're on a tighter budget, right? They're out here fighting for their lives, both literally and figuratively. And so they need those dollars to go home. And so it's not a vibe. I'm not going to price haggle and fight with the travel nurse, right? They deserve as many deals as they can get, but that's not the asset that we're building. That's not the type of real estate strategy that we're building. We're building a no nonsense, hassle free real estate strategy. And the way we accomplish that is by working with the homeowners insurance companies. Once a disaster strikes, they need a place. They don't have access to real estate. You and I are the individuals that are setting up these properties, that are giving them the access that they need to real estate properties. And so that is the game changer. That is the ultimate game changer. So I would definitely encourage you to take a look at the homeowners insurance strategy. We're going to dive into it a little bit. I see more questions coming up about the homeowners insurance strategy. So I'll give you a quick breakdown and kind of show you the roadmap there. Okay. All right. So next question, Judith, just asking about our retreat. Yes, Judith, our retreat is coming up in October. It is in beautiful Serenbe, Georgia. It's just 30 minutes outside of Atlanta. Now, this is a 3.5-day immersive implementation retreat that is just perfect for investors who are ready to take action. We've only got 4 spots left, so this is your opportunity, Judith, to get in there. Let's dive into the strategies to help you get that first rental or your next rental in 2024. Now is the time. We're in cost segregation season, so it is time to get this going if you're wanting to launch before the end of the year. Now, Judith, I want to remind you, during this retreat, I am sharing with you how 2 doors, that means 2 properties, brought in more income for our member Elena than her full-time job. Okay, 2 doors. She was able to cut back on her full-time job because of 2 properties. Okay, so this is what you will discover at this retreat. The tax savings are amazing if you launch this year. In 2024, we have 60% bonus depreciation. We're going to have our tax strategist on hand to make sure to walk you through step by step in order to get you what you need to make that happen. For all of those who have signed up, we have a live training next week where I'm going to guide you through step by step all my templates, all my methods to make sure that you get started, to make sure that within the next 12 months, your bookings never run dry, especially especially with these insurance policyholder clients. Okay, so before anyone jumps in, Judith, I'm going to remind you that we do vet everyone that's coming. It's a small, tight knit group, about 15 attendees or so. So definitely would love for you to DM me, grow. Go ahead and actually don't DM, comment, grow below. And then we'll hop on a quick call with you and chat with you about all of the details. Okay, so feel free to comment, grow, and I will send you the link to go ahead and book that call with me. So thank you so much for the question, Judith. Excellent, excellent. Next question, David Ty. Hi, David Ty. David Ty says, when you purchase a property with a mortgage, do you categorize it as a secondary home or an investment property? And how does the insurance work for coverage as primary rental, short-term, or midterm rental? David Ty, these are all wonderful questions. It depends. It depends on the lending product that I use. So sometimes it's secondary, sometimes it's a vacation rental, sometimes it's an investment property. I prefer the secondary because I get a 10% down loan that will allow me to take advantage of the secondary. That I can take advantage of because of that categorization with the lenders that we work with. Investment properties, typically you need 20, 25, 30% down. So I like to use the 10% down. And so in order to use a 10% down loan, I have to take advantage of that secondary category, or I have to take advantage of a vacation rental category. Okay. And insurance works really, really well. Particularly, you can use your primary insurance with a rider for the short-term or midterm rental, or you can use one of the insurance companies inside of our community. We use a company called Steadily for our short-term and midterm rental products. They're pretty competitive. I would take a look and check them out, but we also have a variety of additional insurance vendors that love to work with us and love to work with our community. Okay. All right. So Flowers, hi Flowers. It's so good to meet you. Flowers says, what are the first steps of converting a long-term rental to a MTR? Okay, that is a great question. So Flowers, again, I mentioned a little bit earlier that my absolute favorite strategy for MTR is the insurance policy holder strategy. Love, love, love that strategy, where I am helping families who are displaced due to disasters. So disaster displaced individuals are the folks that I am helping with this particular strategy. However, there are hundreds, probably about 150. So there are about 150 additional, I would say, midterm rental avatars out there, people out there looking for midterm rental housing. So bear that in mind. And for all of you who are joining, welcome, welcome, welcome. I do want to say hello and welcome. Hi. Hi, low head to toe. Hi, a blessing. Hi, Mellow. Hi, Ann Rovey. Hi, Miller Moves. Hi, Christy. Oh, Chrissy the nurse in the house. Hi, Space Age. Hi, Flowers. Okay, so great, great, great. All right, so I saw your message. Commenting, girl, phenomenal. Okay, so let's talk about it a little bit. Okay, so when we are leveraging the midterm rental strategy, there are hundreds, okay, probably 150 or so. There is disasters displaced. That's my absolute favorite. There are political campaign guests who need a home temporarily. There are snowbirds. They're also known as climate migrants. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Higher education, government contracts. I am interviewing experts in all of those realms, just to find out, where's the biggest ROI and where's the biggest ROE. And what I have found out so far, and if that changes, you will be the first to know. What I found out so far is that the strategy that gives me the biggest ROI and the strategy that gives me the biggest ROE is my return on energy. Everything that I do in my life, I check myself. I say, okay, did that energize me or did that completely drain the life out of me, right? So I'm looking for both. I'm looking for both an ROI and an ROE in my interactions because it matters. It truly, truly matters to me. Okay, so all this to say, the insurance policyholder strategy gives me the same I think I lost my train of thought. Flowers, I see you. Flowers is like, same girl. Yes, yes, yes. 100%. I got distracted. I got real excited. Yeah. Okay. So just a little bit of preface before I dive all the way in. Between my husband and I, at one point, when we saw we were saddled with $500,000 in student loan debt, the only way we knew how to get out of such a horrible predicament is by working a lot of jobs. So he and I, we picked up so many shifts, 5 jobs between the two of us at one point. I mean, it was just pure madness. So now I feel like I have every right to say, you know what, if it doesn't light me up, if it's draining me, I want no part of it. Okay, so let me, okay, cancel that part. I just wanted to preface it there, but let me focus back to the question at hand. The very first thing you want to do is really understand who it is that you want to serve. What type of avatar? Although it's a disaster displaced individual or disaster displaced family, well, who are they? Is it a home that can house a whole family, multi generational, multi-family? Is it a home that can house maybe a couple, right? Is it a condo? Is it a one bedroom? Is it a two bedroom? So I want to figure out what type of asset that property is. Is it a single family home? Is it a condo? So let me know a little bit more, Flowers, about what type of asset it is, because that's going to help me to help you. Okay, I think she's gonna message. So that's really gonna help me to help you in order to boom. There it is. Okay. 2 bedroom townhome in San Diego. Okay, I love that. All right, so let's talk about it. So in my markets, I'm in the southeast. I'm in Georgia, so I'm in a little bit more of and a little bit more of an affordable market than you are, my dear friend. But a townhome is great because you can house a couple, you can house a small family, and you want to set it up thinking about exactly what it is that they would need if they were displaced from their homes. Okay, so this is where I think it takes a little bit more of a thoughtfulness process because although this avatar has a, I would say, a bigger budget than an individual you're working with a corporation, but you want to be really thoughtful and methodical in how you're setting up this property. You want to set it up specifically with the avatar in mind. So get an understanding of the demographics of your neighborhood. Get an understanding of who is most likely going to be that individual or that family or that unit that would need your property, and set everything up in the property to meet their needs. Here's the deal: one of the number one complaints I hear from the insurance companies, and because this is a specific attribute or amenity that most hosts are not willing to offer, but most guests need, is a pet friendly stay. Think about it. Are there are Americans not some of the biggest pet lovers around? Right, most households, not most, but I would say 60 something percent of households have a couple of puppies, a couple of dogs, maybe a cat. So you want to start thinking about that. So whenever I am launching a new midterm rental, I'm looking for properties that primarily has hard flooring that are very easy to clean, very easy to sterilize and just return to its original form. The way that we accomplish that is we eliminate carpet as much as possible. I know, hear me out. It's probably a hard pill to swallow, but it keeps the home nice and sterile and very, very easy to maintain and easy to clean by your cleaning team. That's one thing. The second thing that I love about the properties and the families that we serve is that when we're looking for a property, we're looking for one that will cater to, say, a family that either has some mobility limitations, a family that has special needs children. So for us, it's I want to focus on getting properties with a master on the main level or a bedroom on the main level. So that's really, really important to me as well. Okay. Now I don't know the setup of your property, so those are some things that I would consider if I'm looking to purchase property. If your property's not set up that way, that's okay. Not all of our properties have masters on the main. We have one that does it. It still does relatively well, but it is because of all the other things that we have done with the property. So going room by room by room, I think about who it is that I'm serving and what it is that they would need to have a stay that makes them feel like it's a home away from home. Okay, so our kitchen cooking goods are really good quality. It doesn't have to be Michelin chef level, but think about, well, what would it take for them to make a casserole, right? A pasta casserole dish. And so if you can walk yourself through that process, and think about what all you would need: a pot, a saucepan, all the things. Just make sure that the kitchen is fully equipped and they feel as though they're experiencing a home away from home while their home is getting repaired. Okay. So that's what I would say. Actually, go room by room by room inside of our community, and I give a shopping list, a shopping kit of every single item you need to have in every single room to make sure that the guest is having an amazing stay. And this is a list that has grown over time, right? It takes time to get to know your market, to get to know what are the must-haves for your market. But most of the items in there are standard across the board. Okay, so hopefully that was helpful. Please feel free to drop some more questions in. Ask me anything else that you need me to clarify. Okay. All right. So without further ado, we're about halfway there. I want to make sure I get to as many questions as possible. Next up, Blessed says, how do you run your numbers for displaced families to find out how much they can charge? This is such a great question. I love, love, love this question. Okay, so when I'm running the numbers, I'm looking at a number of components. Okay, so first and foremost, I'm sorry, I had to cough and I'm like a little bit thirsty. Okay, this is like little tickle. All right, so first and foremost, I'm gonna look for my ceiling number, my tippy top ceiling number. What is that tippy top ceiling number? Well, that tippy top ceiling number is a percentage of the actual property's rebuild value. Okay, so again, let me say that for those sitting in the back. That tippy top number is a percentage of the rebuild value of the property in question. Okay, so usually I will use 25% of the rebuild value. For instance, if I have determined, and I'll walk you through this in a moment, if I have determined that the rebuild value of the property is 25%, then come back to me if you're multitasking. Come back to me if you're multitasking. If I've determined it's 25%, 25% is going to be the number that I'm using. That is the number I typically use to 25% of the actual rebuild value. So that means if the house structure is $400,000, 25% of 400,000 is $100,000 per claim per year. So I will take that $100,000. I'm going to divide it by 12. That's 83.33 per month. That is how much I will charge, allegedly. That is how much I would charge per month. Okay. However, I need to read the room. I need to understand, well, what else is available in the market? Okay. What else is available on the market? And make sure that I'm in that vicinity for a like kind of property, so that I can get that booking, because these bookings are very important. They're highly lucrative. There's no scenario where it's okay for an insurance company to reach out to me and call me and let me know they need some help and I don't figure out a way to take down that booking. I'm telling you, these are some of the most high value bookings you will experience in your whole life, unless you have an ultra luxury Airbnb luxe property. It's not happening. So you do not want to just let this booking go by the wayside, okay? I hope that makes sense. So, how do we read the room? Well, I look at a couple of comparable properties and I look on platforms like Airbnb. I look on platforms like Verbo. I'll look on Corporate Housing by Owner. That's another platform. If I'm looking to compare a larger property, 3+ bedroom, or less than 3 bedrooms, like 2 bedrooms, 1 bedroom, I'll use Furnish Finder to see what's available there, and so on and so forth. And then I will compare it to the original number that I came up with, and I run it through my midterm rental math calculator. I have a calculator that I use specifically for the strategy. This is how we back into the deal. We use that calculator not only to determine how much to charge, but to determine, well, is it worth investing in this market, because we know how much we can make, because we are aware of how much we're going to be charging, right? Really important. So multiple use. The question you just asked, Miller Moves, has so many implications, because it not only informs you of how much you can charge, but it also no, that's Blessed who asked the question. Blessings asked that question. It not only informs you how much you can charge, but it informs you how much you can make in a specific market, and whether or not you're getting the green light to go or the red light not to go. Okay. So read the room is my rule of thumb. We built out a whole calculator just to come up with the pricing on our behalf, so based on the market, based on the property. So definitely love that question. Hopefully that's helpful. Okay, Mellermo says, how do I connect with the insurance company? Ooh, that's a really, really good question. So, how do you connect with the insurance company? Like I said, I had a little tickle. Drink a little water. Okay. So, one of the biggest, I would say, disconnects that the members of our community are having is that if they have a property, they're going to list it on a number of platforms and they're waiting for the insurance company to reach out to them. However, the struggle is that if they don't get inquiries on that listing for an insurance company, they run the risk of allowing all of these 2 night bookings to block their calendar. So if you have a 2 night bookings peppered all over your calendar, there's no way the insurance company will see your listing. And the reason is that when they go in, they're searching for a place that has, say, a 30-day stay available. Okay. So for those of you who are just joining us, we're talking about midterm rental markets. We're talking about how to find properties that are profitable. And we're talking about how to then get those properties booked by insurance companies. So that is like the third prong of the whole situation. And again, if you have 2 night bookings peppered all over your calendar, how do you expect to be found on search? You're not even going to be found. They're going to look for you on search and you're nowhere to be found. You are nowhere to be found because you have these 2 night bookings peppered all over your calendar till the cows come home, right? And so, the first thing that I ask our members inside of our community to do is really get into your calendar. Calendar maintenance is the key, calendar stewardship is the key. So, the question is, how is your calendar? Is your calendar such that it is wide open, such that you're able to be found on the Airbnb platform, for instance? Okay. And so, for those of you who are like, okay, I thought we were talking about insurance. Why is she talking about Airbnb? Well, more than 50% of our bookings come from Airbnb. The insurance companies are looking on Airbnb. Like it or not, Airbnb is the Google of furnished housing, point blank, period. So why reinvent the wheel, right? So if they're looking there, I want to make sure that I'm found there. I want to make sure that I'm visible. My listing is speaking to them specifically. I'm drawing them in every way, shape, or form. So first and foremost, your listing must be optimized on Airbnb so that you are found. They put so many marketing dollars behind that platform. And like it or not, I don't love it. I have my own struggles with Airbnb. Like it or not, I want to be optimized on Airbnb because this is where the insurance companies are searching. They're searching a number of platforms, yes, but this is one of the number one platforms that they're searching on. The next thing that I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm listing my property on all of the insurance temporary housing agent platforms. So, one of the number one temporary housing agencies in all of North America is ALE Solutions. And so I register my property with them and I ensure that they have our listing. We update it monthly, and we get inquiries every month from them directly. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're doing that as well. Hopefully, that is helpful. All right. So, okay, Miller says, do you typically see demand for 1 to 2 bedroom units? There's definitely a high demand for 1 to 2 bedroom units. However, there is high um, competition as well. So keep that in mind. So how is it that how will you stand out from the crowd if you have a 1 to 2 bedroom? So bear that in mind. So yes, I see a lot of demand. I see a lot of demand for studios. I see a lot of demand for 1 and 2 bedrooms. However, I see a lot of competition for those as well, more so than the 3 and 4 bedrooms. Okay, so keep that in mind. Linda, hey Linda, long time no see, my friend. Linda says, I have a short-term rental in Panama City Beach. Is there an opportunity to turn them into midterm rentals to support families who are displaced? Absolutely, Linda. And you guys get hit all the time by hurricanes. So definitely, I would look at leveraging the midterm rental strategy for those properties in Panama City Beach. Additionally, I want you to also think about your climate migrants, your snowbirds, okay? What are your snowbirds up to? Very important. Your snowbirds are key. I want to make sure that you are taking them into consideration and setting up a marketing strategy for them as well. Now is the time, my friend. We're just inside of our community. We have a pricing clinic powwow tomorrow, where all of our members who are about to hit their slow season, um, some are a variety of beaches and some other areas as well. They're about to hit their slow season, so it's now time to um, regroup and implement for our snowbirds for sure. Okay. Next question, Angelique. Angelique says, "Are the homes fully furnished with linen such as towels and sheets? So the homes are furnished like with everything like Airbnb?" Okay, so this is a really, really good question, Angelique. I promised a little bit earlier that I was actually going to walk you through a three-step process, but I have yet to do so. Let me do that right now, okay? So for those of you who are multitasking, come back to me because I'm going to do a pop quiz to make sure everyone understands what it is that I'm talking about. Step number one, say disaster strikes and a family is displaced from their home. Okay. Step number two, they move out of their home and they move into your home and rent it out for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 13 months. Like it can take a while for a renovation to occur. Step number two. Step number three, you are paid month after month after month by the homeowner's insurance. Okay, so that is the three-step process for this midterm rental strategy. That is the disaster display strategy. Give me a one in the chat if you're picking up what I'm putting down, if this makes complete sense. Give me a two in the chat if you're like, Rachel, hang on, you went a little too fast. Can you say that again? Which one are you? Give me a one in the chat if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Give me a two in the chat if you're like, okay, I wasn't ready for a quiz. I didn't study for my quiz. For those of you who are back to school, if you're like, I didn't study for my quiz. Okay, I'm seeing some ones. This is so good. This is so good. Oh, you're so welcome, my friend. I see the comment there. Okay, great, great, great. Okay, so I'm seeing some ones. I'm gonna give it one more second. I want to see, are there any twos? I'm gonna take a sip. It's just water, I promise. Okay. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so you're picking up what Dr. Jennifer. Hey, girl. Hey, welcome. Oh, I love seeing family join us. Okay, all right. So that is the strategy, guys. And so when they're displaced from their homes, guys, sometimes they come to your property and they have lost everything. They've lost everything. Okay, so here's the caveat. I love to set up my property in a way that is fully furnished, that has all the linens, it has all the things. Now, for this strategy, since they're going to be there longer term, I'm not going to give them my, $1,000 of linen, super expensive, but decent quality. I'm not going to break out the Brook linen for the ultra luxury properties. I'm going to break out the nice and decent quality linens, but I want to make sure that they have everything. Okay, but hear me out, because I'm gonna say something next that's gonna sound quite contradictory, but I want you to hear me out. Okay, so yes, I like to make sure that my home is fully furnished. It has all the things, because once it's fully furnished, that's one of the biggest levers that I can pull in order to get those higher monthly rates. The properties that are long-term rentals that are out there on the market on Zillow that are unfurnished, I'm able to get anywhere from 3 to 15x whatever their asking price is, because my property is furnished. Okay, it just depends on the season, depends on the demand, depends on scarcity. However, Alexis, who attended our retreat in Destin, we set up her property unfurnished because she was actually a bit strapped for cash. And she said, you know what? I do not have the capital right this second to go ahead and furnish the property. So we set up her property unfurnished, and we listed it on the platforms that I shared with you a little bit earlier. And so here's what I learned from Alexis. This property was in Ohio. She got a $6,500 a month booking for 12 months on an unfurnished property. Okay. For those sending back, come back to me if you're multitasking. I'm going to say it again. She got $6,500 a month booking for 12 months for an unfurnished property. That's without having to lift a finger. Beautiful. That's the beauty of it. Bola inside of our community, she's another attendee. She's a scientist with she did cancer research in the past. She's transitioned to another scientist gig. She was able to do a rent for rent model, an arbitrage model. So she rented out a property after getting the deal. So we showed her how to get the contract. She got the contract. Then she needed the property. So she did it reverse because, again, depending on your situation, you may not have the cash outlay that you need right away to get this done, but everything is figure outable. So she took the strategy. She got a contract, listed a few properties that she had in mind on ALE Solutions ALE Solutions and Airbnb. The agencies contacted her, say, "Hey, we need that property." She goes, "Okay, let me see if it's still available." It wasn't, but she says, "But I have another one that is a potential, right?" And guess what? So she got that landlord to agree for ALE to place a family in the property out of state. So she's in Philly. The property's in Austin. No, not Austin. San Antonio, Texas. She did it again. She placed them in Phoenix, Arizona, and without visiting the property's completely unfurnished. The temporary housing agency went ahead and furnished it. They have the ability to furnish it. However, just remember, since you're not furnishing it, you're not going to get the highest possible rate. But she was able to get something quite meaningful month after month without having to fly out of state, without having to furnish it on her own. Like, how incredible is that? How amazing is that? Okay. So keep that in mind. There are multiple ways to skin this cat. Hopefully, I answered your question. So, Angelique, yes, I would prefer the properties to be fully furnished, towels, sheets, everything, similar to what you would see on Airbnb. However, if you are in a bind, you can actually launch without furnishing the property. All right, Dr. Mrs. W. Leo. Hey, friend. Okay, Dr. Mrs. W. Leo says, I have a 3-2 in Houston near a medical center. It's on Airbnb. It's doing okay, about 50% occupancy on average, wanting to see if midterm rental would give me more occupancy and stability to scale. I would venture to say yes. I truly believe it. I would need to evaluate the product to know for sure. But yes, I would venture to say yes. I would focus on making sure that my property are listed on those platforms that we're talking about. Being near a medical center is not, again, my target audience. My target audience are families who are displaced from their homes due to disaster. Um, we personally had 9 days of vacancy over the last 12 months on our midterm rental properties. 6 midterm rental properties in our market had 9 days of vacancy over the last 12 months. So close to 97% occupancy rate. So it is totally possible. Our members are experiencing very high occupancy rates with this strategy. Okay, there's a trying to go live. Reading is essential. Trying to go live with first single family home as an STR mid October and plan to convert to MTR in the new year. I love that. Okay, so I went on the Better Life podcast with Brandon Turner. So that is exactly what I was sharing with him and Kim. I call that my depreciation double dip. Yes, definitely leverage the tax strategy this year, and then we switch gears to midterm rental. I love that. So, for those who are not aware, guys, pay close attention to what David is talking about. This is a tax strategy that's in legislation right now. Back in 2022, we got 100% bonus depreciation. In 2023, we saw 80%. We're now in 2024, we're seeing 60% bonus depreciation, meaning you can offset your income. You can offset your W-2 income, your rental income, your K-1s by leveraging this tax strategy by putting one short-term rental into service. So I was just on our coaching call earlier today. Dr. Ryan, he put 3 of his short-term rentals into service to take advantage of this strategy. He's a interventional cardiologist. His wife is an oncology specialists, and so they are at some of their peak income potential. And putting three short-term rentals into service this year is exactly how they're going to be able to save on their taxes. Our member who's an attorney, she was able to leverage that. She got a $170,000 savings last year after the cost segregation study. So this is exactly the benefit we're talking about. This is, I would say, this is really special because usually you're not able to take advantage of this type of strategy unless you fall into a category called reps status, like real estate professional status. And so this is a massive loophole. This is the SCR tax loophole. This is the loophole that Amanda Hahn and I, we co-authored a book about. You launch a short-term rental, you convert it into a midterm rental, and instead of you just giving Uncle Sam all of your money, guess what? He is going to owe you money. He's going to owe you tax dollars. So, absolutely love it. Cannot wait to see the check that Uncle Sam cuts Ryan, because he had to write a big check for his renovation. But cannot wait to see the check that they cut Ryan, because he was able to finally launch. He just launched in July. Very first month, got 30,000 worth of bookings. It was just astronomical. It was so good. So good, too good. And I'm super excited to see what that looks like. So, David, thank you for sharing again. Check out that podcast interview, guys. This is exactly what we were talking about on the Better Life podcast with Brandon Turner. Full circle moment for me, guys. I'm not going to lie. Full circle moment. And this is the exact same strategy that I'm going to lay bare for our attendees at the MTR Wealth Retreat. 3.5 days, 3.5 days. To really flesh out what this strategy looks like for our attendees. Okay. All right. Next question. Thank you. Thank you, David, for chiming in. I so appreciate you. Okay. Next question. Naomi says, I'm interested in a distressed property in my area, but I am not sure where to start. Okay, so okay, yay. Sorry. Okay, awesome. I just saw your comment, Kevin. Kevin gave me a one in the chat. The owners are part of a trust. They live out of the area and the property isn't listed for sale. How can I approach them to see if they're open to selling? And is that even a place to begin? I'm also having trouble figuring out the underwriting because there aren't any comps nearby with the same number of rooms and bathrooms. Any advice on how to handle this situation? Okay, so Naomi, this is really a cool question, because it tells me that you're really thinking outside of the box as to how you can get into this property. So I don't love distressed properties per se. If the property is distressed, that's going to be quite pricey to get it renovated and up to the standard that you need to really start to create that revenue this year. Okay, so is the property distressed or is the owner distressed? That's my question. Is the property distressed or is the owner distressed? If the owner is distressed, I'm here for it. I'm here to help solve a problem. But if the property is distressed, meaning that it's gonna need some renovations. I was just looking at a property a little bit earlier. Talk about distress. This property is on sale for 500,000. The ARV is going to be $1 million. The property essentially is a beautiful home, but it has no roof. It got struck by lightning, and then it caught on fire, and then the rain destroyed the entire interior on the top level. And it looks like the garage. We could see like so much damage. And so the property is definitely distressed. Are you a project manager, Naomi? Have you done this type of project before? That would be my question, because this is going to be a heavy lift. And whatever you think you're going to pay for the renovations, go ahead and double that amount. Okay, so give yourself that wiggle room and double that amount, because this is what we're seeing. We're seeing that renovation costs are so much higher than what we had originally expected. I don't want you to go that route if you have other options, and I truly believe there are other options. But if you so choose, you want to go down that route, how do I approach them to see if they're open to selling it? There's a number of ways you can approach them. You can write them letters. We used to do yellow letters in the past, to see if they're open to selling it. If you could give us a little bit more information, tell us why you think this would be a property that the owner would be willing to sell. Do they have liens on the property? Do they have a bankruptcy? Is it a divorce? Is it like what's going on with it? I would love to know a little bit more about it. But we're in a buyer's market, friends. We are in a buyer's market. I would totally want you to do something that you're comfortable with the acquisition phase. If you've never done a project like this, I would venture to say let's be really, really mindful in what it's going to look like, because it might be a whole lot more work than you're expecting. But this is definitely a great question. I'm just concerned that if this is not okay, I'm not if this will be your first time. Okay. The Naomi. Okay, this would be your first time. Let me just tell you a story, not to discourage anyone, and I hate to be the one that's bearing bad news, but we have members in our community. So far, the renovation budgets that I have seen flying around are anywhere from 190 to 400,000. So it's quite a bit to renovate right now. So if you can get into a deal with light renovations less than $20,000, that's what I would encourage you to do. And Naomi, the way that you win over this deal and win over the hearts of these owners is understanding what is their biggest problem, what is their biggest pain point. Are they trying to get rid of the property? Are they trying to sell the property? Right. So not having that information is going to be a little bit difficult. So finding out who the owners are, and you may need to do some extra skip tracing to find that out. And then if it's not owner occupied, just reaching out to those owners and seeing if you can make them a deal that they would wouldn't want to refuse, so to speak. And sometimes it's giving them market rates and arranging it in a way that makes sense for you, whether it's seller financing. It's just a little bit okay. It just sits vacant. Oh, okay. Absentee owners don't live in the area. The original owner's children are now current own and privy to try. Okay. Okay, so if they're absentee, if the home is vacant, I think that is great. Yeah, I would send them yellow letters. So find out whatever's working in your market right now. We used to send yellow letters that look like Amazon postcards. Those work sometimes. We used to send yellow letters that are handwritten. We used to actually handwrite them. Those work sometimes. Yeah. So find out who the owners are. Let them know what it is that you have to offer. Maybe you can do a seller financing deal there, but you would also want to visit the property, inspect the property to see what you're expecting in terms of, what that capital outlay looks like for the renovation. So hopefully that's helpful. We can continue this conversation for sure. Moira, hello, friend. Okay, Moira says we've been trying to contact ALE. Awesome. You can't get a response. Okay. So, how have you been trying to contact ALE? I was just telling Dr. Ryan a little bit earlier. When we reach out to them, we reach out on a month to month basis. So, the first of the month just came. We list our property on their platform every single month. And for whatever reason, it activates us and it triggers us. And we got a response within a day of listing. Not that, I fully expect that to happen to everyone, but it's really important to list your property more than once and on their platform. Okay, if they have a need, they will reach out to you. If they don't have a need, they won't reach out to you. So it's not something that is automatic every single time. However, it works and it continues to work for us. We don't only list on ALE. That's just one of the 9 or 10 places that we list. So make sure that you have multi-platform distribution. You're listing everywhere in your calendar on Airbnb, which is again the Google of furnished housing, right? You want to make sure that it's optimized on Airbnb as well. Okay. All right, next question. What are the other platforms besides ALE? Okay, great question. So, the platforms other than ALE are Verbo. We've gotten a request from Verbo. Two platforms that kind of does the same thing, but they're different are Furnished Finder and Corporate Housing by Owner. I typically like corporate housing by owner more just because there are larger size properties on there, and our properties are 4+ bedrooms. Furnished Finder are the smaller properties, and you find that a lot of people are price haggling. We list on Furnished Finder as well, just to kind of start the conversation, just to kind of get those leads, right? To get those contacts and continue on, and just add them to our database. So that is why we use Furnish Finder as well. Okay, where else do we list our properties? Oh, your network is your net worth, right? Your network is your net worth. And so we have an internal community, the short term gyms community. So our members, we list with one another and we let each other know whenever we have a vacancy to make sure that, hey, there's a vacancy, there's an inquiry rather, and is there any individuals available in Austin, for instance? We just got one for Austin. We got one for was it Dallas or Houston? We just got one last week from inside of the community. So having a community, a tight knit community of investors who are willing and happy to share is key. And you want to create your own little local community. So we have a WhatsApp channel for our local community. We list with them as well. Outside of ALE, other insurance companies we use, there's one called THD. They merge with another company. We list with them as well. I think CRS will list with them as well. There are a few that are out there, both local and national. So you want to make sure you're listing in all the places. Okay. All right. I think that's it, guys. I think I got to all the questions. Goodness gracious. So excited to have the opportunity to chat with all of you who joined us today about midterm rental markets. We talked about the variety of property sizes. We talked about how to set up properties for midterm rentals. We talked about where to list properties. And we talked about our amazing retreat in Serenbe, Georgia. Again, it is just 30 minutes out of Atlanta, October 16th through 20th. It's happening next month. Can you believe it? Goodness gracious. So this is, again, a 3.5 day retreat. This is an implementation immersive retreat. It's specific for those who are looking to invest in their very first property. Okay. And for those who already have a property, it is specific to optimize your investing strategy to make sure your property is standing out from the crowd and you're getting those bookings. We've only got 4 spots available. This is your chance, guys, to dive into strategies that can turn your real estate dreams into a whole reality. So during this retreat, you're going to discover how just 2 doors, 2 properties only, was able to bring in more income for our members than their full time W-2 1099 jobs. Okay, so this is what you're going to discover there. We're talking about taxes as well. Taxes are the lever that I didn't know I needed to pull when I first started out. When I first started out, it was all about working more overtime to bring in capital, but taxes was the biggest lever. You will get access prior to even getting to the retreat. You're going to get access to my step-by-step guide, my template, all of my methodologies to make sure that once you've launched, your bookings never run dry. But before you jump in, my friends, I got to tell you, I want to make sure that this is the right fit for you. So DM me, grow. Let's jump on a quick call. I'll send you the link to book a call with me. Not here to sell you at all. I just want to make sure that this is right for you because I can't wait to connect with each and every one of you. And I will tell you, we just hit the deadline for 50% off of the housing for the retreat. So if you DM me grow tonight, we connect, we will hold that savings for you. Okay, so this is last call for the 50% off. I'm paying for half of your room rate while you're there because I really think this is the year that you need to make something happen. If you are saying to yourself, you know what, I've been meaning to do something all year. Well, friend, TikTok, it's September. It's time. It's time. So let's make it happen together, my beautiful friends. I love you all to the moon. I really hope this was helpful. Chat with you soon. Bye bye for now.